Well, hello, and welcome back. I'm AJ O'Neill. This is Beyond Code Live, and we are continuing with the payment series, still on the PayPal integration. And first, a word from our sponsor slash, but not really our sponsor. I didn't mean to put the slash in there. I just need to pop a top, friends, and open focus. Oh, that doesn't bode well. You know when you don't pop the top on the first try, it's a bad omen. Maybe I'm too tired and not even the dew can save me. That would be a sad state for sure. Anyway, uh, just one more second here, and I'll dig into the code. Yeah, so we basically got the database set up. I've had a little bit of back and forth. I don't have it set up quite perfectly, but this time we're just going to go straight through the order process, then the subscription process, and it's just tying up the loose ends. That's what tonight is all about, I think. So with that in mind, and I don't have any additional who to follow for today. I'm still going to stay with Jaffa the Cake. He's in the doobly doo. Jake Archibald, my nemesis, did an excellent article on cores. I think I linked to something else though. Oh, the Browser Rampage podcast episode. That's our who to follow. JavaScript Jabber is our who to follow. That's who to follow. JavaScript Jabber. I don't know why I'm not plugging that every single time. I should, because you're gonna much smarter people than me, and that's where I get my who to follows from, is from people I interact with on the show, that I argue well with on the show, I'd say. Okay. So, I'm not even logged in on this one. Is there one I'm logged in on? Let me move this one out of the way. I don't think I need it. And that one I need. Okay. This one right here. So we're going to go into app.js. By the way, I think I figured out what the is. I think it's I think I might have said this before. I think it's the sound of Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo going into unlocking a new area. It goes do 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 do, and I think that my has just been a morphing of that to the point where it's nearly not recognizable. But that's I was bugging me. I was thinking, I make this sound. Why do I make this sound? Where does it come from? Okay. So PayPal checkouts order product. But first, I need a big gulp of this. Feel the burn. Okay, that's waking me up a little bit. Might give me the focus I need. I do feel better. Okay. This really ought to be brand name. What? No, that actually makes sense. It's this one. This one ought to be plan.comment. Let me move this over here. That's not what I want to do. I want to do this. So I do want to use plan.comment. At some point in the future, soft descriptor. Yeah. Okay. What I don't have here is I don't have the purchase.create. And I realized that I need that to be something else, but I don't remember what it is I need it to be. So we're just going to go with purchase.create is what it is. So there's purchase. And I guess that should have been .plan.get. I might purchase.plan. Do we have a purchase.plan? Purchase.plan. And then purchase. We're going to do this a little bit differently. Oh no. my oh no was about my chair just sank. Makes me sad. Whoops. So I bought a new gas cylinder for my chair. And unfortunately, when I move in my chair a certain way, the gas cylinder just moves down. And then I got the replacement for it. Yeah, this is just not going to be a battle worth fighting. Dang it. I got the replacement for it. And it dang it, sorry. I'm going to battle the chair for just a minute here. That's frustrating. So it's about as high as a bar stool. Well, now it's going lower. This is really annoying. I guess it's just a bad brand, or it doesn't fit. I don't know what. Okay, give me about 2 minutes here. I'll get the pipe wrench. I was just hoping that I got a bad one and that really everything was fine. But now I see that I didn't just get a bad one. It's just a bad brand. But I don't know what you do. I don't think money can buy a good one. I've paid more money before for one that is supposed to be guaranteed or something. And it wasn't any better. It didn't last any longer. Alright, come on, pipe wrench. Do your business. Okay, pipe wrench is doing its business just fine. Pipe wrench's business is to get the thing out of there. Okay, what's going on? Alright, I'm going to try loading it on this way. Hold on. I don't know what all that was, but... I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So this is just delightful. I don't know if I've ever sat this high in my life. There we go. Okay. Hopefully my chair doesn't start going down and down and down and down again. I really don't want to have to return it. I want to pay whatever amount of money I need to pay to get a good one. I just don't think they exist. I don't think it's the money that's the problem. I think you'd have to build a factory, which is more than, well, I guess that is a money problem, but an economics problem. There's not enough middle-class tall people that need gas cylinders for their chair. Okay. Sorry. That's out of the way now. So now we have purchase dot plan. Yeah. And then purchase dot, what are we doing? Create. And I already forgot what that was supposed to be. Let me go look at some inserts here. Well, that's pretty boring. I guess that's good though. Oh, I think I was thinking to change the name of this from purchase to, I don't know, shop or something. All right, create is going to be P. And we're going to do ULI. Where'd my ULID go? Now, why did I want to do that here? ULID. Purchase. Purchase.ulid equals, maybe? I kind of do want to hide that detail away. That's fair to me. And then, well, technically, I guess purchase should return a purchase. Should just return it with whatever default values. No, I don't want to do that because then I have to do the timestamps. And then I have to have a create and fetch. So this is good enough. It'll return the ID. That's fair. Okay. All right, so we're going to move that into database logic. So we're going to have this take place. Okay, so obviously did something wrong there. This is one of the reasons I love having prettier, by the way, is that when something is wrong, your code gets formatted wrong, and then you know. I consider that to be a great boon. Well, these are so thin, they're almost not worth having. But I do think they are worth having still. So, keep them we shall. All right. Yeah, that looks good to me. I think what I'd want to do here is just put in the params. Really what I need to define is a purchase. I need to do a type def on a purchase. Of course, I need to get the type linting and everything set up for this in the first place. But oh, it's a lonely night. I don't know if something's broken with the counter, or are we really? Are we alone? Are we alone? Well, if not, please say hello and let me know that we're not alone. We don't like to be alone. Anyway, yeah, so I want to do param, and then really what I want to do is define, say, what a purchase object is, and that would be a type def here. So do at type def. Gosh, I've already forgotten how to do it. Is it purchase, and then I think we just do it this way. Gosh, I forgot. What project should I look in that has this? I think the auth project has it. Let me go look at that real quick. Type def. Object. Oh yeah, but there is another syntax for type defs. So this is more convenient for some things. But there's certain property types that cannot be declared this way. But this is what we'll do. So it would be type def, whoops, of this would be object, and then we just throw some props in like that. And then I would need to go look at the database to see what those are. But to keep it simple, I'd probably make everything optional. Well, almost everything. Sometimes you'll see people make several different variations of the object, one for the create and one for the update, etc. And this does make sense because you can say these properties are required for this action and not required for that action, and so on and so forth. But for my purposes here, I just want to keep it really simple. So we're just going to go with what are the properties that are available. Also, I think I made a typo already, didn't I? Oh, not in there. Let me go back to here. I left it as payments. It should be purchases. See, if y'all were watching tonight, somebody would have caught that, and then I'd know. Okay, so I guess where I want to throw this is kind of sort of right here. All right, ULID and property price. And property currency code. I guess it would be fair to have maybe a purchase and a purchase partial. And they'd be the same thing, except the purchase would be what you expect that something must have. Okay, so we've got the price, the currency code. We've got plan FK. I wonder how they define encodings in these, because you can, UUID is a valid type for something. Okay, so we got plan FK, product FK. I think that is superfluous. I don't remember. No, it's not. User FK. We're going to have to create the user if they don't exist. That's something that we will need to do once we get the payment information. So it's going to be a pain in the butt to go walk everything and put the user info in there. And then the payment FK. And then we've got our timestamps after that. Created, start, and revoked. Okay, so this would be date created at, start at, end at, and revoked at. I think that might be refunded. Revoked might be the right terminology. So we got all those dates. So ULID accounted for, price accounted for, currency, yes, plan, product, user, payment, FKs, all created, start, end, revoked, all accounted for. All right, there we go. That's a purchase. All optional properties. Okay. So I probably should put that in a types file, but again, I haven't even enabled the type linting. I need to have a standalone episode that's just setting up the type linting. And what I'll do is I'll create a tool that I publish to NPM. I'll probably call it type lint, and it'll have one subcommand, which is init. And it'll set the things that need to be set, create the files. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's that. All right, then we go back. Bum, 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 bum. And purchase dot get plan. I should make this dot plan dot get. That would actually be get by slug. Would be more appropriate. Or we could do a find and have it pass in. But let's call that get by slug. And then this is get by slug. Actually, we could just look for get plan and replace any instances of it. There's only one other place it's used, so I'm just going to knock it out. And we'll use get by slug. Plan.get by slug. Okay. Just put those up on top. Okay, good. Product is definitely going to be defined. Plan is definitely going to be defined. Okay. So this should work up to this point. So I want to try to get the whole flow done, and then I'll go back. Oh, hey! We do have some people on. Excellent. Yeah, because the counter is broken, and I was feeling a little lonely. Must be Al or must be AI? I can't tell. Must be AI. That sounds about right. Saw my comment and responded. I'm thinking that's the comment that I just made recently to the YouTube. Let's see. Albert. No, it must be Al. Okay. And then, sorry. Yeah, I don't know if is that Camera LDE. I don't know what that is. Hello. Welcome. Thanks for joining in. Hold on just one second. Oh, I've got the wrong window open over here. I need to open up another window over here. Okay. Okay, so you said you're using IntelliJ. Yeah, I'd say get rid of that garbage. Learn VS Code. Either that or Vim. Well, I shouldn't say IntelliJ is garbage. I think a lot of people use it and really enjoy it. But if you're just getting into programming, you need to be using standard tools that are common in the industry. Unless there's a significant advantage or, you manage your own life, right? You know better than I do what's right for you. But I'm going to say, if you don't know inside your soul, then you should be using Vim or VS Code because those are industry standard tools. IntelliJ, I know a lot of people use it, but it's not ubiquitous in the way that VS Code. Let's see. Linux experience. I'm just looking at your comment here right now. Yeah. I do have a little Linux experience. That's great. A little bit of SSH. Still recommend that I watch that course. So the course it's not really it is kind of a course. Yeah, I do recommend. I recommend because if you learn hodgepodge, you're not going to learn as well as from concrete material. Now, granted, that mini course that I put together is not the best material in the world, but you're going to learn a ton, I would imagine. Been studying computer science for only a year to realize I only need to be studying software engineering. Yeah, so this is something that I don't think there's good definitions for in terms of schools. I have no idea what software engineering means in terms of a college program or how a college distinguishes software engineering from computer science. But software engineering is definitely a more important skill than computer science in general. We need far fewer computer scientists, although I think a good basis, taking the 100 level courses, maybe a couple 200 level courses of strict computer science is good for the soul. Can put together a hello world or calculator program, but not any real programs. Like a trading bot, a shoe bot. I don't even know what a shoe bot is. Website is not a program. I mean, that's very generic. That there's no definition to that. But go make a trading bot. I mean, why not? Do it. You might want to, if for some reason, I don't know why a trading bot would be more difficult than other types of bots, but if for some reason a trading bot seems too far out of reach, then build a Discord bot or a Slack bot, but Slack, ugh. Okay. But thanks for commenting and letting me know that you're out there. Okay. A Nike shoe bot to buy shoes on release. Oh my goodness. Do you know about Deku Deals? There's some other sites like this. Whoops. Check that out. Let's see if that went through. DekuDeals.com. Yeah, it did go through. Good. Okay, and over here, all right, I was saying that this should work. This should create an order. It should give me an approve link, and I should be able to direct the user to the approve link. Now, what I want to handle next is that when they click approve, it should come here to the return link. And if it gets the return link, I do now know what queries there will be. I now know that token refers to order ID in the PayPal system. And so what that means is that I would have to go look up. Oh, wait, why is this all commented out? This looks about right, doesn't it? We're looking at order details. I think I've got that built out, yeah. I'm not sure why I had that commented out. It looks right. So the result is going to be the query. We're going to look at, oh, maybe it's because a result is token. So maybe, oh yeah, I think I didn't, when I created this, I don't know which way I should do this now. The problem is that JavaScript is kind of sort of a snake case-ish language, but anytime you deal with stuff across the wire in a database, you're generally doing, JavaScript is a camel case-ish language, but anytime you're dealing with something across the wire, JSON database, you're typically doing snake case. And so I unfortunately have a mix and match of snake case and camel case based on where it's coming from and where it's going. But this is, anyway, this is the right thing to do. Okay, so I want to grab, this would not be grabbing a subscription, this would be grabbing an order. And do I want to return null if it doesn't find anything? I don't remember what the status is. I'm going to have to go look that up real quick. Let me go look that up over here. And I'm going to check. Yeah, so Deku Deals, I didn't explain what it is for those of you that aren't actually going to the link. And there's similar sites for, see, before I explain what something is, I jump around. That's the ADHD. So it's a site to let you know when your favorite Nintendo games are available for purchase. And they just added PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox, and Xbox One are now, all those games are now available on the site as well. And there are other sites. This was, I think, the first one of its kind, or at least the first popular one of its kind. But there have been other sites for PlayStation, at least. But that's really cool to see that now they've added PlayStation and Xbox to Deku Deals. So it's just integrated with Amazon and Best Buy and the Nintendo eStore and stuff like that. And it gives you what was I going to say? It gives you an email, sends you an email when the deals are coming. Okay, I'm going to look back over here. I don't want to be in this. I need to go look at some documentation real quick of where the webhooks were. Where are they enumerated? Because I did put in the documentation where the webhooks are enumerated because it's difficult to see. I still don't know how to get to it. I can get to it from a Google search. I don't know how to get to it from their API page. PayPal's API it's only not lackluster, I think, because of how pretty it is. Well, no, it's not lackluster. It's like the PHP hammer. Something is really wrong with it, but it can work. Anyway, I need to look through here real quick. Let me see what... Oh no, I don't need to look at this. I don't need to look at this at all. So let me go back. I need to look at orders. And I need to look what the response for an order looks like. What do you think is the best coding style? I've been learning Google C++ style guide, but I don't want to reinforce bad habits like you said. So it's definitely bad coding style to do C++. But maybe that's why you mentioned IntelliJ. If you think that you want to learn C++, I would say learn Rust because you want to go where the ball is going, not where the ball was 30 years ago. And I know that a lot of stuff is built in C++, but I like if you're not going to get a CS degree, you have no business writing C++. Yeah. In general, yeah. But if you learn Rust, by the time you're ready for that type of job, then you're moving where the ball is going to be, right? And it's easier to get more experience in a technology that is on its way up than a technology that is on its way out, because big fish, small pond versus little fish, big pond type scenario. But I wouldn't recommend that anyway. I'd recommend first language being probably Go. I think Go is the best first language, and then after that, JavaScript. But as far as coding style goes, the code style should be defined by a linter. So for example, if you're doing anything in web, the linter, linter versus beautifier, you would be using prettier, anything web. Now, I think Python has the Black Mamba, I forget what they call it, but Python has a prettier, Rust has Rust format, Go has Go format. So I would not recommend, especially in this day and age, trying to learn a language that doesn't have a code formatter, because the other people already have those jobs. And if you go after one of those jobs, you're not going to get one of the good ones. You're going to get a mediocre one, which again, a lot of people, I say mediocrity, but that is what most people are. Most people are mediocre by definition. Most people are in the realm of average. That's how a bell curve works. So if you're just looking to go in and get paid and get out, then sure, learn C++ or Java. I don't know what the code standards are for that, but I'd say that Google would be a good one to follow. But more importantly, find a tool that does it for you. That should be super simple with Vim. And if you are, I think I already mentioned Vim Essentials, so I won't mention that again. Plus, I'm trying to get through this thing here. Okay, status is going to be created. I'm trying to look for the statuses that an order can be. So let's see if it will show me status can be created. Ugh. Approved. So I need to see approved or completed. So I should see approved or completed. What in the world would be the difference between created and saved? I don't, this does not, these two things don't tell me much. Voided, I understand. that's something that I would have to do. So that's not something I need to worry about. I think it would be possible for either approved or completed to be in this function where I'm checking this. Doot, 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 doot. And I don't know. So if there's an error here, I probably just ought to surface it at that point. But I guess bad request is good enough. So if approved, so this really should be, this is how I like to do this, approved or completed dot includes. And by the way, you know, I know there's cultural barriers and stuff. I do not intend to offend. I just make my claims very boldly, and that doesn't mean that they're actually correct. I make strong assertions, and you're free to disagree with me or tell me that I'm wrong or show me evidence to the contrary. But I'm a 1 or 10 type person. I've learned that for me, and I think for most people, that ends up being the best strategy is pick a side and go with it. But what is it? You know, people have started to hate the saying, but strong opinions loosely held. You know, pick a side and go with it. But if it turns out that you're wrong, then switch sides. Okay, subscription. This is not going to be, no. So this would be order, and then would be order dot. Is it going to be? Do they call it ID or do they call it order ID? I think they call it ID because the other one is called subscription ID, right? Well, let's see. I can just do this. That will be appropriate. That's acceptable. And then res.redirect. Yeah, that can be cool, I guess. I wonder, perhaps I should have this return in the front end with order in it. Because it is an order problem. Okay. What do you use to find errors? Just the console. Tell me more. What do you mean by find errors? And by the way, welcome back, Spoon DJ. Nice to see you again. Must be Al. Got it. So, ill attempt. Ill. I have a parser problem. Well, it's not really a problem. When people don't use capitalization and punctuation, I have difficulty reading things. I attempt to learn Rust and Go. Just start with Go, maybe. Or Rust if it fits your fancy. Rust is difficult to learn. I only learned C++ because it was fetishized before I got into coding. Yeah, it's not. I've tried many languages, JS, Python, PHP, C and C++. But you definitely need to stick with something. You might want to pick up a framework. Normally, I don't recommend this. I recommend going with the basics, but sometimes it's good to pick up a framework and learn patterns and build an application from start to finish, and then go to a different language, pick up a framework, learn some patterns, build a similar app from start to finish, and then make your learning choice because it gives you a little bit more context and perspective because you see not just the little pieces of the language, but you see how people build in it, and hopefully you pick a framework that's idiomatic, which I don't think there are any idiomatic frameworks in JavaScript, so that rules that one out. But you, between Python, PHP that has Laravel, Python has, I forget what it is these days. Ruby has Rails, which some would argue that Rails doesn't follow the Ruby conventions. There's the C and C++ are just right out, man. Those are just bad languages. They're not safe. They're not easy to use. You will learn lots of ANI patterns in the C and C++ environment. That I can say. I was only able to get some comfort with C Lion, the only program I like for. I've heard about C Lion as well, but again, I don't know. I guess it depends. What do you want to do? Tell me, where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself? What kind of problems do you want to solve? If you want to write a trading bot in Rust, I think that kind of makes sense. You want to be fast, memory efficient, whatever. You could write a trading bot probably in anything. But I guess trading bots, if you're talking about real trading bots, they got to be really, really fast, and they got to be connected to a network. So Rust might be, because it gets down to the point where nanoseconds matter with trading bots, the real ones. Okay, so I think I'm going to put order in there. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but that's okay. And then do we have, I think we have payer. Is it payer? No, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. Take me back to, all right, so we create an order, and that's the example status created. Was this an order? I want to see what an order looks like. Payer. This is it right here. Sample response. Yeah, the PayPal API, all the pieces are there. They're wrong somehow, and I don't know quite how to articulate it. But I can articulate it in that they're wrong. Just things that just, I don't know if somebody knows how to explain this. I mean, just, okay, this, for example, that just RFC 333, no, was it 3999, 3339? That's all you need to say. It's a normal ISO timestamp, but then you got this. It's just, the pieces are there, but they're wrong. Or sometimes it has an enum, but there's only one valid value. Is that an enum? That seems like it could have been a Boolean. Anyway, okay. So here we have payer. That's what we want, and payer does give us email address. I could have sworn I went through this already. I probably did. So we're going to have order.payer. Okay, now here is where I'm going to need to let's see. Okay, if it's a subscription, we activate it. But as a purchase, I think we also just want to activate it. We want to activate the purchase, but the purchase is going to be custom ID, I think. There's going to be purchase units. Is that where custom ID goes? Custom ID goes somewhere. I need to figure out where custom ID goes real quick. At what layer is custom ID? Let me look for that. Custom ID. Purchase units. We're going to have that in purchase units. Okay, so where was purchase units again? So inside of here, ostensibly, will be custom ID. No, not there. Reference ID. Yeah, sample response. Purchase units. Okay, so I'm going to assume that what we're going to have here is purchase ID is going to be order.purchase units. And then that must be there. So to do handle multiple purchase units. I suppose I could, though. I could handle that right now. Why couldn't I? Because I could just do this. I mean, this is a little bit. Okay, we do reduce I think it's really strange. The web community is so bad. It's just so bad. I'll check out that comment in just a second, by the way, but I'm going to go on this rant for a second. So I've probably said this before, but here's one of the ways the web community is so bad. So they introduce async await, and they introduce all these functional iterators and blah, 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 right? But then they get rid of the way that, or they don't, all the documentation basically shows really bad ways of using them that don't go together. So we have this nice reducer method. And if you want to use it with async await, then this is how you do it. Although maybe we don't actually, yeah, we're going to need that. We are going to need that. And so we would need a unit.custom ID. And then if not, if we didn't have a custom ID, let's see, did we do a purchase dot? We did a purchase dot create. Let me go check how we did the purchase dot create. Did we give it, we did not give it an external, I think this is supposed to have maybe a subscription ID attached to it or something. I think it should. I don't think that was in there, but I'm going to put a little to do here. Subscription ID, FK. But anyway, it's just infuriating to me. There's a dozen different standards bodies for JavaScript between W3C and Whatwig and I forget what the JS Foundation, and they all ignore each other and create standards and silos and make similar things that are incompatible. And one group's working on async functions and the other one's working on map reduce and iterators, and none of them get in the room and talk to each other and say, hey, is any of this useful for the people that are going to be exposed to it? And can we make these work together somehow? They just don't do it. Oh yeah, and then there's ECMAScript as well. So there's at least 4 different committees that all do this stuff. Now I will look at that comment in just a second. I'm done with my rant. I'm just going to go make sure that my reducer here. Let's see. So I got the custom ID, and I'm going to move this in. And I'll just put better, because this should just be one. Like in the code here, I'm only providing a way to do one. Okay, so then we've got purchase ID. PayPal ensures that email addresses are verified. And then we do have user. So we do have user.email address. And this is where I need to look up or create the user. So to do, look up or create user. And I think I will write that function right now. User could not log into a purchase during a purchase, so we don't use their ID here. Don't use. Where was I? Was it this one? It was this one. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that because yeah, we're going to want to have the user FK here. So that would have been UUID. Let me make sure this is right, and then I'm going to look at the comments. Let me just get rid of this thing that's griping at me. Okay, now I'm looking at comments again. Blah, 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 blah. I want to make a crypto trading bot, sports betting bot, sneaker bot, buy shoes on release, mostly do full stack development. My goal is to get a job for now, then become an entrepreneur. Okay. Go make your bots. What's holding you back from making your bots? Bots are pretty darn simple, right? I'm guessing with a sneaker bot, you do have some challenges. You can't check too frequently or your IP address will get blocked, but whatever. Check 6 times a day. I don't know. You could download the HTML. You could put some regexes on it. I don't know exactly what it's like, but go do it. As far as crypto trading bot, that sounds scary to me. Legally, financially, sports betting bot. I'm not really into the gambling stuff. Sneaker bot, I totally understand. You know what I mean? But if you're going to do it to scam people, that would make me sad. If you're just trying to be a scalper, not because you're like, hey, I want to get these sneakers, but every time I try to get these sneakers, they're never there because the scalpers took them, and I want to, beat out the scalpers. I get that. But if you want to be a scalper, just go to Costco and steal all the toilet paper. We already have enough problems. And full stack development, again, this is too broad. You got to be more specific. You gotta pick some sort of niche and kind of narrow down a little bit to say the kind of things you like to do. I mean, you mentioned some things that you like to do, but I'd say try to get, because full stack, first of all, there is no such thing as a full stack developer. There are full stack developers. That's my little inside joke that there's a Matt Elliott. He and I have this running joke about full stack, like as in a clown. But no, you got to pick a side. You're not going to be great at front end and back end unless you're a unicorn, which there are a few out there. But you're about as likely to be good at front end as back end as you are to be good at cooking and back end, or good at being a mechanic and front end. They're unrelated skill sets that just happen to be adjacent. Let's see. Boolean. I've never heard it said out loud in my head. It was a Boolean. I don't know. I have an American accent. Boolean. I don't know. I have no idea. You're good, man. Just like listening and seeing someone else beside myself writing. Cool. Finding I'm better at front end. Great. Yeah. Then if you have a proclivity towards the front end, then do front end. If you want to be really good at the front end, typically you're more in the realm of HTML and CSS and less in the realm of programming. They typically try to get front end people away from the programming and introduce lots and lots of frameworks and just meh. Okay, so this would work, but I'm going to have to look up or create the user. And I'm trying to think what I want to do, because here's my problem with this. If I were paying with PayPal personally, the email address that I use for PayPal is not the email address that I have normally. And I think this happens with a fair number of people. So I think what I'm going to say is we're going to try, first of all, I really don't care about their email. Well, I kind of care about their email address. I think that I should go back. Where did I have that? I had subscription here. Yeah, to do. So I think what I need to do is put a to do here for email. As a matter of record, it makes sense for email to go here. But if they're logged in, I would want to use their rec.user.sub if they're logged in. Otherwise, yeah, I guess we could look up the user by their email address, and that would be appropriate. So let's go ahead and try that real quick. Let's say .email address, because there must be a payer on an order. So if we have an order, if we did not get an error, oh, and this would be if not. Yeah, if it's not approved or completed, then we get out of there. So it's either approved or completed in this case. Is there a case where we don't have a payer yet? Maybe. I'm gonna say this is a maybe. So let's say that's email, and then if not email, well, let's say if email. To do. Can the payer be missing when it's at least approved? I don't know, because the object does not have the payer until it's been approved. It may not have the payer until it's been completed. I'm not 100% sure on that. So, but this would be really, really awkward if the person pays or agrees to pay and we don't have information to give them a confirmation yet. So I got to double check on that. But here what we're going to do is going to look up the user by email, and I need to go into my lib, I think it's user, to go sort that out. And I probably have a find function. Let's see. Find. I've got to find or create. I've got to find here. And we have email. So how do I treat email? Yeah, it's this one right here. So I would be find and I would send the email in. I'll take a look at the comments in just a second. By the way, it's so nice to have y'all here tonight. I really do enjoy the conversation. Hi, Mike. You know, I really do. I really do. It's just nice. Oh, by the way, I think everybody that's here tonight already knows about the Discord, but just to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and put in the Discord link again. So basically right now, the Discord is mostly when people want to chat, when they just want to have a little bit of conversation with each other and say, oh yeah, I'm interested in that too, or whatever. That seems to be one of the things the Discord's used for. I just use the Discord to say, hey, I'm going live soon. So I'd be happy, you know, feel free to ask me questions and stuff on the Discord. But I'm obviously, well, not obviously, but I only have 3 screens. And this one's aligned vertically. So I don't have enough space to also have the Discord, because here is where I'm doing the work you see. Here is where I'm doing the stuff that you don't see. And then to throw on another thing on top of that is just, maybe we'll get there one day. By the way, I'm excited, kind of, sort of, in a sick to my stomach sort of way, excited about the new MacBooks. Are y'all excited about the new MacBooks? I got one with the dual encoders, and I don't know if I really needed it, but I found that my current MacBook Air is just shy of being powerful enough to do what I want to do with 2 cameras running at the same time, desktop screen sharing, and being able to broadcast via OBS and via the other whatchamajig. And so I think that the M1 Pro, I think it has the same video encoder that the M1 has, but the M1 Pro Max, or the M1 Max, has 2 video encoders. And I think it's the video encoders, not the GPU, that's used during that. I don't really know. So I'm going with the Max, but it almost doubles the price of the compute. Well, it not doubles. It adds about 50% of the cost onto the computer just to do the one upgrade, which is kind of, you know, makes me sick to my stomach. So I'm not sure if I want to do that. Yeah. Oh, the 13-inch. So not the M1 Pro. Now this is where it gets confusing, because there's Max, as in M-A-C-S. I have 2 Macs. And then there's M1 Max. And then there's MacBook Pro. And then there's M1 Pro, MacBook Pro. It just, I don't know if they really thought through the branding on that, or maybe what they're going to do is replace the MacBook line with M1. Maybe it's going to be M1, M1 Pro, M1 Max. And that's what the computers are going to be called now, or something. Or maybe they're going to drop the Pro off of the MacBook, or, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with that. But Max, M1, MacBook, Pro Max is just, ugh. I don't want to talk about how much that costs, actually. I really don't. It's embarrassing. I feel kind of, Like when you're in an abusive relationship, but you stay even though you know it's bad. There's plenty of punk rock songs about that situation. The Offspring, in particular, has a, yeah. Anyway, so we've got user dot find, and we're going to do email. And what I need to do here, and I guess we can do let user up above. So let user. And I need to make sure, let's see. Where's purchase at? Right here. So where, don't we have a user equals? Oh, we do. I'm going to bring that up to the top. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and bring those up here. Alphabetical orderish. Okay, user.find. And then I need to figure out, is that returning a null or an error? I don't remember the way that I set this up. So I have return user. What if we don't find? So find, it must be an error because I don't even check. No, I do. If user. Okay. Whoa, 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 I didn't want to change anything here. I'm just searching around. Sometimes an abusive relationship is better than no relationship at all. And that's why I bank at Wells Fargo. Because having access to money across the country is a necessary evil. I will still make tons of money with my current MacBook Pro. Yes, I will make enough money. Yeah. So I didn't max it out all the way, Spoon DJ. Although I guess if I maxed it out all the way, I think it'd be 8K. But I didn't max it out that much. I wouldn't be able to come home to my wife if I'd done that. You know what I'm saying? I would have had to sleep outside. Let's see. Okay, so I just want to see. I've been kind of lazy about making my errors package for this because I have now a dozen errors. So normally what I do, I'll just show you real quick because it doesn't take that long. It's one of those things where, one, I should make it part of one of my cheat sheets or template repos where I just have this because I follow this pattern and it works really well. But module.exports.create equals function. Let's see. I have module.exports.errors, or maybe .errors. I don't know. I don't remember how exactly I do it. But, oh no, this is how I do it. So bad request. I'm just going to show you. And this is going to be something code. Actually, I'll just leave it for the sake of this. Status is going to be, say, 400. Description, or do I do message? I think I do message is I'm just going to put there. And I just need to copy this. I need to get this into one of my, I think I might have it in one of my template projects, actually. I just didn't. I'm one of the stupid things I've done really good at publishing modules, but what I haven't done a really good job of is better curation on my cheat sheets and my template projects. Especially because, I mean, you can think about it like this. If I'm doing work where I'm charging by the hour and I've got a bunch of template projects that I have set up, then I think it's perfectly reasonable for me to just build the cost of the template project into the hourly price as well, rather than not having created the template project and then going through some of this boilerplate so often. But anyway, so we're just going to do one of these just so I can show how I do it. And then later on in a different session, I'll grab my errors. So we do let error equals new error. This is, so what we'll call this error TPL is, this is actually what I do. Let errors equal module.exports. There we go. And then I can do errors. And then errors.create would be maybe the last one, maybe the first one, whatever. It doesn't matter. But we say here we have a code. And so error template is going to be errors code or errors.unknown. So we'd have to put that one in here as well. Errors.unknown. And then unknown is going to be 500. And I'm going to fill out that code in just a second, but I'll show you how I do it. An internal server error occurred. And actually what I would do for this one is, well, this should be internal server error. And I will look at those comments in just a second. I believe I saw some comments. And that's too much. It's too much to type. So this is what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to call it default. And we're going to call this internal server error. And then right before this, I'm going to have errors.default equals errors.internal server error. But then here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do object.keys errors. Then we're going to do for each. And then I'm going to do this little ditty. So k, if errors k, if not errors k dot code, then errors k code is equal to k. So I guess we could, instead of calling it code or k, we could just call it code. So that way I don't make a typo. Ebad request will be ebad request, internal server error will be internal server error, etc. So this is just so I don't make typos, because the number one cause of typos is typing. So if I make a typo in one place, well, they'll either be in sync and the typo will exist in both places, or there won't be a typo. So that's so I don't manually copy and make typos. Error code strings, which would inevitably lead to me making typos. There we go. So this is all I'm going to do for this one, because I've got another couple projects where I've been following this pattern, and I use some pretty standard stuff that is like this, and then I'll the way that I have it, I'll also have an optional details, and so I'll make the error from the error template.message, and then what I'll do is say error.message equals error tpl.message, so that that message becomes a public property, because otherwise it's a prototype property, and I will check comments just a second. Message is error tpl dot, no, we already did message. Code, error.code, error tpl.code. And then we return the error. And so now I can throw errors.create whatever, whatever. So I'll go demonstrate this from, whoa, that's not what I meant to do. Dagnabbit. And that wasn't in screen, unfortunately, so I just lost it. I'm going to have to kill Vim, and then go back into Vim, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, what server am I on? I'm on beta, serve bliss. There we go. And then I was just in here. Oh, interesting. No, I wasn't in here. I was in app. And it's going to tell me, do you want... Oh, what? Hold on. Where was I? Was I in purchase? I was just getting out of error. And then I was going to go from error. I think I was going to go to app. And then I was going to put in errors equals lib errors. Errors. Is that what I called it? Lib errors? Yeah. Okay. And then one more second and I'll look at comments. Okay, to do not authorized. Oh, and I had already started a little error function right here. So there we go. Oh, I was going to show that putting in the details. Yeah, same thing. Whatever. I'm just going to... Okay, so now what I could do here is instead of doing it this way, I could do errors.create ebad request like so, and then just throw that, and then boom, there we are. Okay, let me look at comments now. Bum 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 bum. Wow, this new Mac is so... oh, gosh. Oh, AJ ASMR. Okay, I need to scroll back here. I missed a bunch of comments. I feel like I got cheated by Apple. Didn't know they just released a 14-inch M1. When did you get your M1? And... oh, okay, that's what that comment was for. Okay, sorry, I got the comments out of order earlier. This new Mac is so amazing. Apple scammed me. Gotta go. Cool talking to you all, but I need to sleep. All right, have a good one. See ya, must be Al. All right, and then Mike's out as well. So going back to work on game project. Great. Yeah, likewise. Yeah. Yeah, maybe you can stream yours, and then I can open it up over here on the window that people don't see, and then I can talk and listen at the same time, and we could have a conversation with each other that's 15 seconds out of sync on either side. It'd be amazing. It actually would be nerve-wracking. Okay, so errors.create. Oh, and then another thing that I do, which I shouldn't spend too much time on this because I'm just going to end up copying over some stuff. Let's see. This is what I'll do. I'll say if error tpl.code is not equal to code, then we'll do error.details equals no. We'll just do this. It should just be like that. And then error.details equals details if details. And usually I leave details to be an arbitrary object. So it could be a string, it could be an array, it could be an object. Details is just extra stuff. And I typically don't expose that. Well, I don't expose it for 500 level errors. 500 level errors I keep, 400 level errors go back to the user, 500 level errors are logged on the server, and the user just gets something wrong, went wrong. That's all we know. Okay, so getting out of that. But this was a little bit of a tangent from the problem at hand, which is that I need to find the user. I think this is the place where I need to do it. So we're going to look up the user. We're doing that. So we're going to find the user if we can, and that's not going to throw an error. Let me go back and check one more time just how exactly I was handling that function. So find equals. Okay, it comes back as an array. That's why it's not an error. Okay, got it. Good there. By the way, Mike, if you can take a second, I know you mentioned the game project before, but I don't quite remember. Do you have a demo of that, or can you give me a small description of what that is? Well, yes, and if you, great idea. I was thinking the same thing he says. So, Mike, if you do stream, it'd be interesting. I think the 15-second lag would make it not practical. I don't know. There's probably some way. If the channel gets more popular, and there's a couple of us that want to stream together and do the chit chat thing, I'd be willing to buy the gamer version of these headphones. Well, no, I'd have to talk with my wife about that. But no, there's no need. I don't know. It looks, people that do it, they have to have the, I'd get one of these mics. It would sound, no, I'll break one off of something else. I'll duct tape it on this side where nobody can see it. And then I can look like that, but we'll still use this mic so it sounds good. And then we could just, we could have a Discord or something where we're talking to each other in real time and we're seeing each other in real time. But we'd have to all have the M1 Max so that we could be streaming and encoding and screen sharing and, doing all of those video processes at the same time. I have an M1 Mac. I have an M1 Max. Ugh. They shouldn't have called it Max. But of course, plus would have sounded, pardon my French, but plus would have sounded gay. And I mean that in the most 1997 sense of the word. Not to offend anyone who, live your best life. I don't even know that even applies. But, just, you know what I'm saying. Okay. All right, so I got this. I got the user. So what do we want to do? If the user is logged in, we want to use that user. Do we want to use that user? So here's a strange one. What if, okay, this is what I do. This is what I do here. So if rec.user, let's say, and user.uuid, which I'm switching to ULIDs, by the way. That even sounds better to say, ULID. It just sounds better. And if the actual pronunciation is something different, they're wrong. I have no problem telling people that they named their project wrong. No problem. So rec.user.sub. And that one's going to come back to bite me too. Okay. If user and rec.user. Ooh. I don't like it when ifs are this complicated. I want to put them on separate lines and call it good, Prettier's going to get rid of that. Yeah, so I don't. Sorry, I'm going to force it. I want that to be split. There we go. I don't know if that makes it any better, though. Yeah, that's not any easier to read. Sorry, this is just a tough one to read. Okay, so the other thing that I could do is I could just nest it another layer deeper. And I don't have too much shame in that. it's all about readability, right? So is this more readable? Y'all tell me. I'll check the comments momentarily. Is this more readable than the other way? They do the same thing. Compiles down to the same code. I don't like nesting things, but I just... All right, anyway. So here what we do is throw errors.create. And then this one would be... This would be an interesting error. Because this would be... I don't know. What would be a good generic name for this error? Oh, gosh. No, I can't throw on this. Okay, so I can't... I have to handle this. Even if it's wrong, I have to handle this. Because I can't throw on this, because if it's a payment receipt, whatever the receipt comes out, that's what it came out as. So I can't throw on this. But what I want to be able to do is to mark that there was a mismatch. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to associate this both with the currently logged in user, if they're logged in, and so that will come first, and the email that's on the receipt. Okay. So is this appropriate? Let me think through this real quick. So we're going to get an email address, I think. If we get an email address, we want to find the user if the user exists. It's okay if the user doesn't exist. We're going to go through all of the purchase units, which should be 1. For each of the 1 purchase unit, we're going to get the custom ID. If we don't have a custom ID, then we have a problem, but we need to handle it anyway. So if not unit.custom ID, or if not purchase ID, well then we're going to have to create something. So let me go back and look at what this create is. I think it was pretty simple. But let me just go. And let me double check on the custom ID, and I'll check comments in just a second. Custom ID is the purchase ULID. Okay, so if we get something that has been paid and it's not in the database. Okay, not. We don't know what the plan is. We don't know what the price is. There's literally, we just need to email the admin. Okay. So yeah, the message here should be to do email site admin, tell user to contact support. You got to be thinking defensively, especially about payments. It's one thing if a tweet doesn't go through. It's another thing if you collect 99 bucks from somebody and you don't have a way to associate it with them in the database. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, which again makes me think that I ought to just have an event log for handling this stuff so that I could replay it at any time. because there's, yeah, I'm going to put to do event log, because in this case, there's nothing I can do about it. If for some reason, bug happens, the database disconnects, the site restarts, whatever, and the purchase process has been initiated, the customer is going through with it, and then I come back to look at it and there's no, or somehow the purchase ID is missing. Yeah, I don't know what we do with those cases. Also, I need a special error handler for PayPal checkout redirects. That's another thing that I need. And I can actually set that up. I'm going to set that up right now-ish. Redirects PayPal checkout. Sorry, I will check comments in just a second. Error rec res next. So I gotta remember, I sometimes revert to doing error handling within the whatchamajig, but this is not appropriate. So if I have an error, then I should create my error and I should throw it. So, for example, I throw errors.create, I give it bad request, and I give it some details. Boom. Errors thrown. I don't do the redirect here, I throw here. Now, where I've got my error handler, then this is where I say, okay, whoops, I went a bridge too far there. Hold on, let me go back a little bit. Yeah, okay. So here, then I've got error.code, error.status, error.details. Now, I also need to have, in this particular case, I do need to have some sort of type majig, because, sorry, I will get to those comments. I will. So let's say error.type, error.API, maybe, process, route. I'm going to go with error.type. So that could be undefined. That would be okay. That really ought to go in the query though, not in this Delio. So let's say type is going to be error.type. And I'll change this later because I don't like names such as type, because they become difficult to grep for and all that. But let me go back to, let me say we're going to add some custom properties onto this thing, and it's going to be type order. And I'll go back into my error function real quick, and then after this, then I will do the comments. Then I will do it. So we're just going to say X adders, and then we'll do object.assign, and our error object, we want to not lose its properties, but we can just assign X adders over top of here. So that will assign X adders to error without changing the type of error. If we did this like normal, then we'd be returning back an object. Well, it would be like this. then what we'd be returning back as an object, and the error would lose its error typiness. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. Actually, let me... Okay, good. And then, all right, now I'm going to look at the got your idea. I have a cheap headset on me, and it makes programmer like a pro gamer. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if you want all day comfort, I cannot. I've had these for years and years. I've had these for about a decade. These DT 880s, and I love them. And you cannot get more comfortable than biodynamics. They do not exist as far as I'm aware. There are some higher end grottos that feel pretty comfortable in the store. I tried them in the store, but I don't know that they feel comfortable that you'd want to wear them all day long. These you can wear. You can't sleep in them. Well, maybe you could, but you could wear them all day long. Biodynamics are the best, and every audiophile website will tell you, and they're fairly neutral. AKGs I would put as second best out of headphones that I've tried. Most headphones are not great for wearing more than a couple of hours, but Biodynamics all day long, all day strong. Oh, you know what another thing I could have done here is I could probably get this information. Yeah, I could get this. Hold on, I don't need this type thing here. I might leave it there, but here's the dealio. Let me go back to this. So I can just parse. So, because I'm going to have rec.pathname, I think. Rec.path, rec.url. Is it just rec.url? I think it's called rec.url even though it's the path. Because rec.url, rec.query, yada yada. Anyway, I'd have to double check on that. But anyway, I could just split it. And then I know 0 is going to be empty, 1 is going to be redirects, 2 is going to be checkout, 3 is going to be the whatchamajig. So we could do rec.url.split and then 3. And that should be sufficient. And then this could be let this is how I do it. Like that. So I call it type without an E because, well, let's see, will it work here? It might allow. Type is often a keyword. I thought it was a keyword in JavaScript too for some reason. Maybe it's not. Anyway. There we are. And then return something or return nothing. That redirect or that return is just an artifact. It got there by mistake. Okay, cool. So now that's looking better. Maybe. Okay. All right. So the reason that I needed to do that is because it's still possible. Where is it possible to have an error? It's possible to have an error during activation. But if there's an error during activation, it's hit the fan at that point. What do you do? The fits hit the shan. I think that's the phrase, the family-friendly phrase. I'm all about family-friendly phrases. Keeping the channel family-friendly. All right. Am I not in fish? I am not in fish. What was I drinking? Not enough Mountain Dew, apparently. I'm back in the purchases table, and I'm here to put in another string, which is going to be email. And this is going to be nullable because I don't know if I can prove. Yeah, it's got to be nullable. Almost everything here has to be nullable. And then I do want to put subscription in here as well, which seems redonkulous. Why did I want to put subscription here? Because it's going to be related to a plan, whether or not it's related to a subscription. That's why. Because they could purchase, the plan could be a 1 year of bliss. But they may or may not have a subscription. Oh gosh, these tables are so messy. One day I'm going to get smart and know what to do with them all. Is this payments or is this purchases? A purchase may be one time or a subscription. Subscription. Okay, and I am going to put a hard stop tonight. Oh, David! Well, welcome back, my friend. It's good to see you there. Oh, and for everybody else that's joining in, hello. I am so glad. It started out super slow and lonely tonight, and everybody's been joining in. It's just been wonderful, and I've enjoyed the comments and the conversation. And if you do too, be sure to give a like, share with friends, subscribe, yada yada. And if not, give it a big fat thumbs down because every thumb helps. No one's taken me up on that yet. I think it's because if they want to give me a thumbs down, the idea of knowing that it helps just turns them right off, which is too bad. But anyway, what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, just because, you know, as you're coming and going and whatnot, and I'll put a link to the Discord again too real quick, since I see I don't know if, you know, because some people are new and some people are lurkers. They come in all the time, but then they just, you know, they're lurkers. So, but just in case, there's the Discord again. Okay, so with the question about the UUIDs versus regular IDs, I think you mean auto-incrementing IDs, which I would not say are regular per se. No, it turns out that I was mistaken. There are a few nuanced cases. I need to collect. There's 3 different articles that I'm going to put together in a tweet, and then I will share that. So bug me about it. Ask me that again, or send me an email, or hit me up on Discord. Yeah, there's something you can use the Discord for. I just post the link to the Discord. Join the Discord. Hit me up on Discord sometime tomorrow, or just put it in there right now so that it's there. So when I go look at it tomorrow, I'll see it and I'll remember. I'm going to put together the couple of resources that explain what's what. But what I've come to is I wasn't necessarily a fan that specifically UUIDs. I am against auto-incrementing IDs. I'm strongly against those. But I really like ULIDs now that I've learned about ULIDs. And I think they're the nice middle ground of meeting, you know, it's the silver bullet essentially. And I would say there's probably not a case to not use ULIDs, but I actually am going to change this before I release it. I don't know if I can do that actually. Yeah, I can do it at least here. And I'll figure out a way to migrate the other ones as well for what's actually in production already. But I'm going to change all of these UUIDs into strings and use ULIDs. And one benefit to that is that when I release this, which I intend the PayPal library stuff that I'm creating will actually be a paid in a box payment system. And so I would like it to be compatible, just as compatible with MySQL as Postgres. And so rather than using Postgres generated UUIDs, I was going to move all the UUID generation into the JavaScript, which is great. But now I'm going to use ULIDs instead. So anyway, I just added the subscription. Purchase may be one time or subscription. Okay, so that's going to be there. But what I'm going to need to do now is I'm going to need to do, we're going to have to do npx connects migrate down, and then we're going to migrate up. Table purchase does not exist. That makes sense. So because I'm still in development, I am breaking some rules for how these things work. Is this going to work? No. Okay. Key constraint does not exist. Column product FK. Payments. Okay, so this is my problem here. I was expecting this actually. Purchases. So purchases needs to come after pretty much everything else because it can reference pretty much everything else. So we got to put these in order of what they can reference. So payments needs to go at the bottom. It needs to be the last thing to be created, and pretty much it needs to be the first thing, purchases, needs to be the first thing to be dropped. Because this is the messiest table of them all. And I'm going to need to find a way to make this directed graph style, but for right now, it's just a hodgepodge table until I figure it out. But anyway, the thing that I'm doing that you wouldn't normally do is that rather than making a dozen migrations for all my changes, I'm just making them feature set migrations and then updating them in the same file and just going down and going back up. And then once it goes to production, I can't do that anymore. But I think what I'm going to do is make multiple migrations. So I'm going to have migrations for the payments related stuff, migrations for the user related stuff, etc. Okay, so we're going to have subscription FK references, subscriptions.uuid. What else? Same to be true of products and plan. Okay. So all these things for as much as they exist. So we've got plan, product, user, payment, subscription. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think there's one missing. I think it's payment. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, and then payment is the missing one. So payment. Payments. Oh, and this should be plans. And then let's go ahead and just bring this down. I'm sorting them alphabetically. TUV, yeah. There we go. All the relationships. Constraints. All right. So I'm looking over there. So in short, where UUIDs fall short is that they're long, so they take up more space in the database. So you can reasonably, if you're using integers, you can reasonably go up to 2 billion records if you were to exhaust the full key space of integers. But then your IDs are predictable, which means that that is eventually going to leak out into your APIs, which is eventually going to become a security vulnerability. So if you use auto-incrementing IDs, you're going to end up with a security vulnerability because of it. But they are very small. With just 4 bytes, you can represent a 2 billion record key space. With strings, you have an infinite amount of key space. But you also take up more RAM when it needs to search through indexes, and if they're completely random, then you still get in-login performance, but you get constant time performance, or at least linear. What is it? Anyway, if you on writes, oh, excuse me, you get constant time performance if you're using auto incrementing, whereas you get in login performance, and if the IDs are random, then the in login is going to be twice as slow. Now, you got to take that with a grain of salt, because you're talking about looking up an ID. So you're talking about one of the fastest operations that the database does. So sometimes something being 4 times faster or 4 times slower doesn't mean anything, because that where the 4x is in a place that's in noise. But there are certain situations where it turns out that can be problematic. Say you're at Facebook scale, perhaps. But anyway, if you use ULIDs, then the first part of the ID is monotonic time, and the second part of the ID is random. So you get the right performance, and you get similar lookup performance, and you get lower RAM requirements, et cetera, et cetera. So it ends up being pretty decent. Can we go up again? No. Alter table, payments, add constraints. Column product FK referencing and key straight does not exist. Let me just make sure about this. Payments, product FK foreign. Okay. Payments. I go like payments. And then we have product here. Product. So where's product? Is product after payments? Or is product above payments? We've got products, plans. Okay. So what's wrong here? Product. Do we have product up here? We don't have product up here. Is a payment related to a product? No. We decided no, it's not related to a product. Right? I think that's what we decided. Yeah. A product may have a relationship to, no, a purchase may have a relationship to a payment. But a payment is just a payment. Right? Okay. Okay. I saw it worketh. Hey, what's up, Will? How you doing, man? Switching back and forth between your pseudonymous, whatever. Pseudonym. So I'm still banging my head a little tiny bit against the database changes here. And I am imposing hard stop because I need to make sure I get some sleep, some good sleep, some lengthy sleep tonight. All right, so what was I doing? I'm gonna check out return, blah 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 blah. Handle multiple purchase units better. Though it should be exactly one. Okay. So hopefully it will be impossible for both of these to be null. Whoops. Okay. And then for the cancel, I don't know that I really care to do anything. Technically speaking, I could, this is what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to do ppc dot order dot cancel token. Maybe. Okay. Check. This is what needs to happen. So here's the to-do bit. So first of all, we need to do order.get. So we need to say let order ID equals rec.query.token. We need to get the order ID. We need to make sure that the order ID is not completed. So order must be in limbo state, whatever limbo state is, and then cancel. I almost don't even want to handle it here at all. Almost with the cancel URL, I just want to take it straight back to the front end and wait for a webhook to come in, because there's no way to authenticate this by virtue of the null problem. But yeah, we definitely would have to at least check that the order's not in a limbo state, because I essentially, yeah, I don't. And if the payment's already gone through, cancel would probably throw an error anyway. I don't know. But I can put some to-dos there, but that's about all I've got in me for this. And then we had another cancel. Where'd that go? No. Because this was the subscriptions cancel. But this one is actually not going to work. So this one should kind of be just the to-do as well. There's nothing worth doing here. Okay. Subscription. I kind of want to just get rid of all this. I'm going to leave it for now. Okay, where are these set up? I should just be able to do subscription, right? Yeah. And then this one, really, I'm just throwing, hold on, ebad request, same thing here as there, right? If not active, then subscription, let's see, subscript yun.id. Oh, this was already here. Let me just copy that, right? Yeah, there we go. And then I don't need to do all the query string stuff. That can be done already. And I don't need to do the redirect, because that's going to be done already. What I do want to do is change this to subscription. And then I want to change the cancel link and the return link. So this should be subscription, and this should be subscription. And I'll check the comments in just a second, because I think I saw one come in. Okay. Yeah, let me get rid of that return. Okay. So we want to activate the subscription. And we might as well, I guess, let's see. Let's say let email equals subscriber.email address. And then this would just be email. But then we should... Okay, we don't need to worry about the user ID there. Okay, let me take a peek. What else we... Oh, nobody even said anything. Here I was thinking that comments were going wild, and they aren't. By the way, Will, what are you up to tonight? I'm curious. Will is going to be joining the team at my day job. I don't think Matt got the thing, the document out to you yet, because there's a new bit of the system being built out to handle this process, and it just needs a little tweaking, and so you're going to be the first person that that we test that out with. And I'm speaking somewhat cryptically because I don't like to talk about I don't like to. I've chosen, for whatever reason, to not name. I mean, a lot of it can be picked up anyway from what I'm working on. Sometimes it's very obvious, or there's just little hints of a name here or there, but I just, I'll stop drawing attention to it. Never mind. Okay, so PayPal checkout cancel, and this one can be subscriptions too. Subscriptions. I probably have misspelled this in at least 11 different places. Subscriptions. Let me see if I can find. This is just a bad word for me to be retyping. Descriptions. Wait. Subscription. Wait, are we doing... Blah, 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 blah. I'm mixing singular and plural. It's going to be the death of me. Okay. So this is useless. I'm going to confirm that this is useless. PayPal does not mark a subscription canceled. I know that. So I can mark that as 100% useless. This details thing, I'm going to mark as unimportant / useless. This rec.query is there for the sake of, I don't know. I guess it would make sense. I don't think I actually had this there. Anyway, it would make sense to say, okay, again, same thing as before. To do ppc.subscription.cancel subscription ID. That would make sense. But I'm not going to do that right now. Okay. Wait, what's this? So this is up above. All right, so there's handling the redirects. And then the error handling is right here. Yeah. Oh no, right here. Handle PayPal redirect errors. Good. That's a good place for that to be. The subscription bit. Oh, this is checkout order. Okay. So for the most part, this should not be too complex. And then the question is, when the payment comes through, it's a different payment event. There's two different payment events. Working on, oh, you're working on your text game? That's cool. Yeah, Mike's working on a game too, but I don't know if he said what it was. Work on a game project, yada, 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 yada. Programmer, pro gamer. And it's also important to throw in the mix there to use pro grammar, pro max grammar, pro plus max grammar. Can you guess who I'm making fun of? Can you guess? Can you guess? Shouldn't take more than 2 brain cells. Well, assuming that you've seen recent announcements. All right, that one I'm not worried about. Okay, now I need to go check on my webhooks. All right, it's down here, right? Yeah. Okay. So this one is subscription. This one is order. This one is order. So I want to take a look at the payment capture completed event. So I might need to log into the dashboard to see that. I'm happy to do it. What is this about? Oh, this is my node cheat sheet. I'm just going to bring this over here. Okay, we're going to log into the dashboard and see if I can see some webhook events. Pro Max Pro Programmer Plus. Using, wait, which way do I want to do this? Do I want to sign? Okay, no, I can sign in here. It gets confusing. All right, there's Sandbox. Cool deal. And then my webhook events in the Sandbox. Okay, payment capture completed. Resource, seller protection, supplementary data, final capture, seller receivable breakdown, custom ID. Good. Custom ID is in, which one is this? Payment capture completed. Okay, checkout order approved. Do we get custom ID here? I really, really hope so. Reference ID, custom ID. Good. And we get the payee. And this is nested under purchase units. Okay. But with the payment capture completed, I guess we get 1 payment capture completed per purchase unit. I think that's the way that this works. So an order could be multiple purchase units. Fair enough. So shopping cart. Every item in the shopping cart, you could have a subscription in the shopping cart, so on and so forth. Oh, this is such a much bigger project than I had anticipated. Well, I guess just from the perspective that I'm making it a little bit, well, no, I'm not making it that much more generic than I need it to be. I am building it mostly just for me, myself. It is just, there are more pieces to this than I had realized by far. I mean, I know when I was working, as I'm working on the auth project, I know auth is complex. I've worked on auth a few different times. I've got some ways to work it now where I feel reasonably comfortable with it. But this is just too many events. All right, so it's going to be resource dot custom ID, resource.id, resource, let's see, supplementary data, amount, okay, resource amount value. Let me try this. Let me just try to get this here. This is, which one is this? Webhook event detail. It should tell you what webhook event it is. Oh, there it is. Payment capture completed. Okay, so payment capture completed. What are we going to have on this? We're going to have, by the way, I should link to where we can look at these. This is one. See examples at, kind of sort of, this is where you see examples. See sandbox events at, okay, and then now I think what I'm going to do, because I don't want to switch back and forth between these so much, maybe for the moment I'll just make this really tiny. I guess that's okay. All right, a resource amount value. Currency code, and it is bewitching hour for me, so I'm going to leave things pretty much as they are. I'm going to finish up this little bit, and sorry again, not getting to a full place of completion, but we do a little bit. But this has really been helpful, the whole streaming bit, because I am working on things consistently, much more consistently now. When I first was doing this, I thought what I was going to be doing was more teaching programming. And I did that for a bit, and I still want to do that, and it's good. But at least this is getting me to work on, this is probably the most important thing I've done in years. Working on the payment stuff, really hashing it out, getting it in a way that's going to work for me across multiple projects that I have and that I'll be able to use with clients as a template type of deal. Okay, so seller protection. I don't know that all right, supplemental data related IDs. Okay. Is that resource dot? Yeah, it's resource dot. Related IDs dot order ID. Okay, that's great. Updated, create, seller receivable. I think that's already elsewhere. And then this is resource.custom ID. Yeah. Resource.custom ID. The links I don't know that I care about. And then I don't know, do I care about this? Is this a payment ID? That's what I need to know. So I think resource.id, I could be wrong, resource.id, payment ID? I don't know. I think that's what this is referring to. I don't think it's the ID. This is the ID of the webhook. This is the ID of this is the resource. So this is the payment. So that should be payment ID. And then status is completed, which we already know by virtue of payment capture completed. So it's redundant, but it's not redundant in the sense that it is a copy of the resource. A direct, yeah. Okay, so this is all good. Okay, it's good. It's good. I want to look at the other one, and then I'm calling it a night. So I want to thank all of you in advance. Oh my goodness, Maths with Nadra. What are you doing? Is this bewitching hour? You've bewitched us. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Oh, okay. Okay, it's just Sanskrit. Zoomed out rather than zoomed in. It looked... But I'm assuming that's a greeting of some sort. It'd be wonderful if you'd translate that for us. because most of us, I can say with confidence, most of us in the channel have no idea what that means. But I assume it's a pleasant greeting, not a curse. Okay, checkout order approved. Let's go check out the checkout order approved. And this has the purchase units in it. So purchase units is going to relate to a purchase unit. Got it. So resource dot ID, resource dot payer dot email address. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to have resource dot ID, order ID, resource dot payer dot email address. That's great. But we don't get that information. But we do, okay, so custom ID propagates across. That's probably the most important thing here. Purchase units, and then we've got that custom ID. Or maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe purchase units is not the total? I don't know. I guess I'll find out in due time. Payer dot email address. Purchase units dot reference ID doesn't matter right now. Amount may. Custom ID. Let's say, and we'll grab amount from that too. Amount.value, amount.currency code. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't get to the full loop yet. I'm going to do another little ad hoc backup of the system here. And I will catch y'all, I guess, let's see, Wednesday. I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. I hope to be back on tomorrow night around the same time, maybe a little earlier. But I'm not quite sure because I may have something else going on tomorrow evening that may preclude me from streaming. Then Thursday is the meetups. And then Friday, I've got a conference to go to. So we'll see. But anyway, yeah, thanks for joining in. Really appreciate it. I've loved having the little back and forth tonight. That's been absolutely wonderful. One last time, I will put a link in to the Discord for anybody that wants to join in on that. Again, I don't really know what the Discord's going to do other than it'll give you a place to ask me questions if you want to. Of course, as the channel grows, well, so far we don't have any problems with me being asked too many questions, so I'll worry about that if that ever becomes a problem. But try to respond to questions and give my most opinionated advice. No punches pulled, as always. If you liked the session tonight, give it a big fat thumbs up. Hit the little subscribe mabob, bell for personalized recommendations and all that. Also, if you do both YouTube and Twitch and you're doing on YouTube, check the doobly-doo because the Twitch is there. And they've kind of got me intrigued by the whole gamification aspect. And I do think that I get about an average of viewers to take me into the whatever next tier with Twitch, but I don't have the metric for it on Twitch itself, across YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. I think I do. Anyway, so if you do the Twitches, just because I'm being suckered in by the gamification, I'll ask you to join in there if it fits your fancy. All that out of the way, questions, comments, whatever, leave them in the comments, leave them in the Discord. Suggestions welcome as well. You have an amazing day, night, evening, morning, noon, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I will catch you later. Adios. And I will sleep well, my dude.